All right, here we go, family. Black Power is the General Sarah Seti, and I'm black at y'all ass again with this real fucking talk. About to get that work today, family. Got to get that work today. You know, I really love showing family the truth and reality of all these fictional religions that's out here and doing it in a way into where these niggas cry uncle. I love, you know what I'm saying? Because it ain't no way about it is. You know what I'm saying? I had to do, a series every now and then just to show family, you know what I'm saying? The reality of all the God deception, the mythological Islam, Christianity, Judaism, Hinduism, all religion is created by man. And that's what we have to understand. And we can show that it's been created by man. You understand? We can show you all the fallacies, all the inconsistency, and nobody in their right mind would believe a all-knowing, all-powerful God up in the sky would make such silly, silly, silly inconsistencies and contradictions. Okay, that's real. And so again, why community and people in general is in the predicament that they in because they give so much energy to lies and mythology and will get ready to kill you for exposing their ass for exactly what they are. Okay? Now, normally I might start with the Jew and then work my way to the Christian, then work my way to the Muslim. But this time, I'm gonna do it in reverse. You understand what I'm saying? Some niggas you got to show both ways. And then I'm gonna be touching on things that I haven't touched on before in a way, because this is a 12-part series. Okay, I'm doing the first two tonight, and I'm gonna walk it down. And I guarantee you, at the end of this 12-part series, you understand what I'm saying? You'll most definitely come to understand that it ain't what they say it is. Now you can go to Puff Puff, the Magic Dragon, and try to make an excuse of what you might see in this series, but it's not gonna change the reality that most people that see it gonna know exactly what it is when they see it. Okay, most people gonna say Islam come from Allah or Allah. I don't know which one they meant. I don't know if they meant Allah or if they meant Allah. You understand what I'm saying? Assalamu alaikum, assalamu alaikum. Okay, we talking about an all-powerful God that could just say be and it is. Okay, and we're gonna show that if this is God Almighty with powers, omnipresent, no limitations to their powers, then why is it that we find the majority of the aspect of all these religions in the previous religion? You understand? There's nothing original about anything in Islam. You can see that it's when you co-opt an idea and add your own seasoning on it to make it appear that now you the master. When you come up with a new religion, everybody wants to be the master. And so they'll leave a little of the old religion and say, yeah, this is what they did right. But now God has sent a new one, and I'm here to add the new information. And usually it is follow me. You see what I'm saying? Follow me. I'm the one God sent for the modern day. And that's how most religions, they feed because that's, easy for you to co-opt the believers of the old religion. So you got to leave something that they can identify with. You see what I'm saying? But the reality is, as I go into this very, very early, let me go to my chat to see how my family out there, because I know this is going to be very, very controversial. How we doing out there? Okay. Is we in the house? Is we in the house? Brother got down there, Muhammad faceless and illiterate. And very, very true. What up, Patai? What's up, my good brother? That's right. Got the king in the house. That's right. We got the family out there. We got the family in the house. That's what's up. We putting in that work today. Okay, good. Patai in the house. I can move on with the teachings. You know, when we was coming up, you know what I'm saying? Islam seemed to be revolutionary to us. You know what I'm saying? You hear black man is God, and the different aspects. It takes a while for you to get off into the intricate aspects of these religions to really come to understand, not being a believer and being an understander of what the fuck you believe in. And should you be a believer, or should you be a knower? You understand what I'm saying? A believer is just, well, I don't have the answer, but I believe that this is true. You understand what I'm saying? Where in the reality is, with the powers of who you are as an African god and goddess, you have all the power to know. You've been taught away from your divinity. You see, and so most religions today are spiritual landmines. All they do is going off on the next belief, and exploding in the mind, destroying whole sections of the mind that was truly spiritually set you free. You see what I'm saying? And again, a lot of people talk about, but I have to speak of divinity before I even speak of spirituality. Yes, let's be spiritual, but spirits is only say you, spirituality only say you chasing spirits. It don't say you divine. You understand what I'm saying? So, you can still be spiritual and be neutralized. You understand? There's a lot of motherfuckers out here speaking spirituality, but they speaking nonsense. You understand what I'm saying? So we want to talk about black divinity. We don't just want to talk about spirituality because, that lacks the divinity, the divine aspect of blackness. You understand what I'm saying? And so when I go off in all these goddamn religions, our prophet is a motherfucker that don't look like we look. And then we try to make him black and shit to justify our ignorance and why we are part of a goddamn religion that's obviously an oppressive religion. Every fucking religion that we got, some motherfucker that whooping on our back and pillaging the community. You understand? Hands us this shit, and then we become an inheritor of an oppressive religion, and we be more about the goddamn religion than the motherfuckers that gave it to us. You see what I'm saying? We just like Dr. John Henry Clark said, we out poke the Pope, out Muhammad. We get in it and we zealots in the shit. You see what I'm saying? Nigga got all the books on Islam. Nigga, from the Pakistanis to the Arabs and everybody else. Hum diddy lie or hum diddy lie. I don't know which one it is, but we got to get to the bottom of this today. Now, the topic is how the Catholics influence the creation of Islam. Okay? Now, a lot of people, Seti don't play no motherfucking game. I cripples motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? You gonna have to come up with a lie. I don't just come up there with, I'm gonna go into the text of the Quran in the upcoming parts of the series. Now, the series might even go to 15. You understand? Because I got some hot topics. I'm not just in this series just doing, nigga, this shit gonna be ground. And when you hear the topic, you're gonna say, wait a minute, I'm gonna have to turn on to this shit. You understand what I'm saying? Because this nigga about to go in on some very critical aspects of the religion, questions that majority people ask, but they don't really get a real answer. You understand? This not coming from an African revolutionary who is the founder of all goddamn spiritual divine concepts on the planet, where people have taken bits and pieces and deviated and misinterpreted for their own expense of controlling another motherfucker. You understand what I'm saying? So once you understand that you the author of all it's easy to, sit up and pluck a motherfucker from a distance. You know what I'm saying? with the scope and shit and hit them from a distance because you know exactly what it is. So I'm going to the obvious to show you. You understand what I'm saying? That how Catholicism influenced Islam. Because first and foremost, and I'm gonna get right into and then I'm gonna go into the second, which each one is gonna lead into the next one in a very critical aspect of breaking this shit down. Okay, not breaking it down like a Christian would break down. No, because that's some bullshit. You understand? You can't let a motherfucker holding some bullshit think he gonna break. Yeah, he gonna break him down because he got a chain on his neck. But the Jew got a chain on the Christian neck. You understand what I'm saying? The Christian got a goddamn chain on the Muslim neck, and the Jew got a chain on the Christian and the Muslim neck. And I'll tell you exactly why. Because when you look at it, I'm gonna break this down. I've always broke this down. Even when I was in the streets of Harlem, I broke it down to show you the hierarchy. When you look at the Jew, number one, you got to look at the Christian and the Muslim. If you go in the Quran and you go into the Gospels of the Christian and you go into the Quran of the Muslim, both the Muslim and the Christian venerate Jewish prophets, Hebrew prophets. You see what I'm saying? But if you look at the Jew or the Hebrew, he don't venerate Jesus nor Muhammad nor Allah. He don't venerate none of them. But they all, both the Muslim and the Christian, venerate the Jewish prophets and God. The law, they venerate Adam and Eve, and all of that is in the Old Testament. So that's the holy book of the Jew. And then when you go to the Christian, see, the Christian is in the middle. See, it's almost like Dr. Dre, 50 Cent, and Eminem. That's how that system started out. Dr. Dre signed 50 Cent, and 50 Cent signed Eminem. So Eminem is Islam. 50 Cent is the Christians, and Dr. Dre is the Jew. Each one signed each other. You understand what I'm saying? And so when 50 Cent went and signed Eminem, Dr. Dre still got a piece of that. You understand? Even though 50 Cent signed him, 50 Cent was under contract to Dr. Dre. So Dr. Dre got some of 50's proceedings and Eminem proceedings. He's the Jew. You understand? In that hierarchy. And so 50 Cent would have been the Christian. He got a chain on Eminem. Now, of course, it's all changed. I don't know what contract, but we're talking about when it first started out. And so, whatever Eminem was making, 50 was getting a large percentage of it too. You understand what I'm saying? But Eminem wasn't getting no proceedings from what 50 Cent made or Dr. Dre. You see what I'm saying? That's Islam. You know what I'm saying? Nobody venerates any of his prophets or his God, not the Christian nor the Jew. But he venerates both Jesus and the Hebrew prophet. He's the last man on the totem pole. That's just obvious. I don't care how you try to rearrange them and, put them with, and say, Allah sent this nigga. This shit already been here before you got here. That's the reality. So you can speak through a time machine and say Islam was, nigga, that's in your mental time machine where you shoot. But in reality, it does not exist. You see what I'm saying? So what I'm going to show you heavily today is the sanctuary itself, which is the church, which is, the mosque. I'm not going to deal with the Judaism today. That's going to be one of the other parts of the series. What I'm dealing with today is Catholicism. Now, when I show you this, I'm going to break this shit down. And this is just the first one. It's going to be very damaging because I'm showing you that, number one, the Arab, listen to this, and you can look this up. Before the Arab got the Quran, because the Quran is the first book that they are ascribed to having. They don't have no fucking book before the Quran. Okay, that's very critical. And the era before that they get the Quran is called the age of Jahiliyyah, which means the age of ignorance. Okay, them motherfuckers was out there in tents. We know what the Arab is known for doing, and camels and goats and shit. So they was in tents. So when we look at now today, the sanctuary, and we're going to look at many aspects, we're going to leave the text for later. Because once you see the visual sanctuary, what they took from the sanctuary itself of the Catholics, then it's going to become, you're going to say, well, damn, it's going to open up the door for you to say, well, if they took this, what else did they take? Because this is not just some, little bitty aspects that they took. They damn near took the Catholics' whole platform and Arabized it. That's all Islam is primarily, and when I say Catholic, let me be clear, Roman. I had to say Catholic, but Roman Catholic, because many of the aspects are Roman, and not necessarily Catholic. These aspects were before they became Catholics. Many of the aspects of what I'm gonna show you is before they became Catholic, and a lot of let me get this shit on going. Let me get it going. Ain't no sense of playing no more games. It's time to go and get this party started. It's time to get this party started. Let me get right where I need to be. Okay. All right, we're in the house, family. Let me get my phone so I can get my monitor up. I got to see exactly what's going on, because it might get hot out here on you niggas. Might get hot out here on these niggas. Okay. Now what we got to understand here, number one, when we looking at this map, I'm going to be moving because we got part 2 coming up, are the Muslims undercover sun worshipers. You know what I'm saying? And I want to have in it, and I'm doing this. And so when this one go off, I'm going to be straight to the point, and then we're going to jump right into part 2. And it's necessary to split them up, you understand, so you can focus on each aspect individually. So what y'all got to understand is this, okay? When you look at the Arab world today, y'all got to understand that majority of the Arab nations was first Roman, okay? When you look at Alexander coming out of Macedonia around 330 BC, conquering majority of from, Greece, what is known today as Macedonia, taking over the Aegean Sea, which is between Greece and what today is Turkey, taking over majority of today of what we know of as Turkey, Syria, Palestine, even Egypt. Now, even though he was a Greek, you know what I'm saying, the Romans adopted much of that, and they would come and even take it further. Okay, so when you see the Greek temple, this is showing you the influence of the Hellenistic Greeks, and the age, what you call Hellenistic age, is those colonies, that the Greeks conquered, the Macedonians conquered, and they adopted their culture. So you will see many temples, and look just like Greek temples, pop up all throughout Asia. You understand what I'm saying? And you can see as they went even into Iraq, Iran, all the way even into India. You understand? Pakistan, and this, that, and the third today. You see the extent. So you see that these areas, though that today they are Muslim states. Syria is a Muslim state today. Turkey is a Muslim state today. Iran and Iraq are Muslim states today. Palestine was a Muslim state, had been taken over, but it was a Muslim state. And so when the Arabs conquered these Romanized Greek states, The Romans and the Greeks had a more higher state of culture and civilization. So they adopted a lot of what the Greeks and the Romans had already produced in those areas. Okay, you got to understand again, the Muslim or the no, let me take that back. The Arab, okay, was a nomad, was a goddamn goat herder, was a goddamn shepherd. He wasn't no goddamn, he didn't have no standing structures. And you know what I'm saying, buildings, and they lived because they was nomads, they lived in tents. They moving back and forth. So the reality is they didn't have those types of structures. But today, when you look at the mosque is not a tent. You see it's a standing structure, and it got particulars to its design that's going to take it right back to the Romans. You see what I'm saying? So when we're starting to look at critical aspects of Roman civilization. So here you're looking at, again, you're looking at the Roman Empire. Okay, you can see all the way to even today what you call Britain, which was called Britannia. Okay, so you see Syria, and you see what you call Anatolia, which is Turkey today. You know what I'm saying? Greece, and even Northern Africa, Egypt, Libya, Algeria, all the way to Morocco. Take even Spain, and so the Romans, and so today North Africa is Islamic, and it's a large Arab population there. So the Arab was the next great conqueror, you know, after the Romans. You know, the Romans and the Greeks came first, and I'm not saying great in that they were great in I'm talking about in aspect of conquest. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, the next vile conqueror after the Romans was the Arabs. And like I said, the Arabs were a nomadic people. So they couldn't replace nothing that the Africans or the Romans, and even though the Romans could not compete with the Africans, they were still, you know, more prolific than the Arabs. So they adopted what was there like anybody would. Even if you go into Arabia today, they didn't have no goddamn downtowns. Now the Arabs got some of them goddamn Dubai and Qatar, and all of them goddamn Arab nations got some of the biggest downtowns on the earth. What happened? They adopted Western culture. And so did you see that just, you know, that's a great example of how they adopted, you know, the Roman religion, the Roman culture and civilization. Again, showing you all throughout Africa, Palestine, what they call Palestine. It wasn't, the Romans had conquered that before the Arabs was even in there. Okay, the Romans was in Turkey, Byzantium. Okay, that's the eastern branch of the Roman Empire. Okay, what they call Byzantium. You can see how even down into Babylon, which they call Mesopotamia, even conquering parts of Iraq. You understand? So this particular map is only to a certain period. Okay. Now this is when the Arab, you know. Now this is not. No, this is oh yes, it is showing you. If you look at the orange part in Arabia, that's showing you the Islamic world under Muhammad from 622 to 632. You see what I'm saying? You talk about the Romans and then was already in there. You understand what I'm saying? Right around 0 AD. You understand? Some of them, you know, Alexander had conquered, you know, this, you know, around 330 some BC. You understand what I'm saying? So just to show you, and then you see orange, you know, Egypt, Libya, parts of Algeria today, you know, Iraq, Syria, parts of Turkey, you understand, going up into the Caucasus Mountains, Iran, Afghanistan, you understand what I'm saying? So at that particular time from this is the first 4 caliphs, you understand, 332 to they began to take and seize lands that had already been Romanized. You see what I'm saying? And so a lot of people got to understand that there were Arabs that were a part of the Roman Empire before there was an Islam. So when you see this, you're going to understand more easily of how the Romans and the Catholics influenced Islam. And there is no doubt about it. So that destroys any Allah sent down some goddamn Quran or read to Muhammad the Quran and shit, and he wrote it down, you know, and I know that ain't particularly how the story go, but it don't make no difference of how it's said. Ain't no God ever gave a man no damn book. Gods do not write books. Men write books, okay? Men write books. Men and women write. Ain't no God ever wrote no, so all of that is fallacy. And once we break the whole of this God, because the God has got a goddamn, and we don't understand that the God is the man that created the God, not the fictional spirit in the book. Because unless you open up the Quran, Allah is trapped in the Quran. Jesus is trapped in the gospel. Jehovah is trapped in the Torah. That's just like a genie in a goddamn lamp. And unless you open up the lamp and let the genie out and open up the book and let the God out, they trap you, the one that empower them deities. If you don't call them deities' name, they would never exist, okay? And so again, you know, African people being the divine entities on the planet, see, we empower everything that's on the planet. When you go into Islam, the most spiritual aspect of Islam is the African people, the brothers and sisters, you know, because we more of a believer of the Creator, and we're a greater believer of a divine God, okay? These people don't believe. So when you go into Islam, whether you go into Christianity, the Baptist church, the goddamn it, the choir of the Baptist church is what keeping Christianity alive. If it wasn't for the goddamn choir of the Baptist church, Christianity would be dead. It is, many aspects of it is still dead. It's just like when you look at a goddamn tree and you see branches is dead on the motherfucker, but it's still some branches with some leaves on it. The branches with the leaves on it is black people, okay? Even if you're talking about Judaism, you understand, it's black people that's empowering that faith in reality. When you look at the Hebrews of Ethiopia, you know they really believe it. You know, you know what I'm saying? They're more, you know, divinely a part of that religion than the white Jew. The white Jew is into Judaism for power. You understand? So every aspect of our African divinity is what gives life to all religion. Religion is just an empty vessel, and it's our divinity that give all religion life. So it ain't no Allah or no Jehovah or no Jesus or none of that. It's your own black divinity. You are the God that you're looking for. So when you understand that man created and packaged religion, God is created by a man, just like it's created by a man. So the God is only a straw man. He's a what's the word? And I'll come up with it in an alter ego of the man who created it. That's why when you read about God, God do everything that a man do, because the man couldn't see past himself. God walks through the garden, the hand of God. You understand what I'm saying? They say the hand of God has touched, you know, and so every time they explain God in the attributes of a man, the eye of God. When you look at heaven, damn, heaven look just like a city on earth, just with gold and shit. You ain't got gates and doors and shit. I said, well, goddamn, if they in heaven and they spirits and shit, what the fuck they got a damn door and a goddamn gate? Can a spirit open up a damn door and shit? I thought these were spirits and shit. So a man can't see past, you know, so I asked the motherfucker, they always show you a hand coming through the sky. and it's supposed to be the hand. I said, well, goddamn, every hand I seen got connected to a forearm, that's connected to a bicep, that's connected to a goddamn shoulder, delt. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, the question becomes, you know, is we real about his hands actually coming through the sky? So the hand that's actually coming through the sky is the man who wrote the book. There is no God in that aspect of sitting up and you talking to somebody in the goddamn sky. We talk to our ancestors, but it's in spiritual essence. God damn it, if you see any motherfucker in, say if one of your friends come over and you know, and you leave out say y'all in the living room and you leave out for a minute, say you got to go in the bedroom, and then you hear a motherfucker talking to themselves, and you peek around, is this motherfucker on the cell phone? Is he? And you peek around and he ain't on no cell phone. He just talking to himself, looking up in the sky, talking real. And you ask a motherfucker, say, motherfucker, who is you talking to? And the motherfucker say, I'm talking to God. You ain't gonna be comfortable with that, because you know that's some crazy shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I used to talk to God. Me, myself, I used to talk to God. And I don't need nobody to, you know, fake no funk with me. I used to do thinking I was being divine, and I would be talking to God. I'd be like, oh Father, oh Holy Father, you know, what is it that you want me to do? You understand? What road is it that you want me to go down? Do you want me to lead my people just like the prophets of old? And then I hear a voice in my head saying, yes, my son, you are my divine, and I hear this shit in my head. But the reality was, and I knew it, I was speaking for God. I was speaking for God. I knew when it was time for God to speak in my mind, I spoke the shit that I heard. You know what I'm saying? And I still did it. But after a while, you know, I say to myself, Seti, wake your stupid ass up, nigga. You talking for God. Ain't no God ever talk back to no nigga. So when you say the word of God, I say, well, God damn it, what alphabet is God using? Okay, what motherfucking language is God speaking in? You understand what I'm saying? The word of God. And how will we understand this shit? You understand? The garden of the Lord. I say, well, goddamn, if it's the garden of the Lord, did he plant the motherfucking flowers? Did he put seeds? You know, and so we keep saying all this crazy shit, the house of God. Okay, God is a spirit. What the fuck he need a house for? And so, again, when you look back and step back, when any religion explain God, they explain God in the image of a man, because the man is creating the goddamn religion can't see no further than himself. He can't see no further than himself. So when I ask you who is God, God is the man that created the goddamn religion, not the goddamn fictional alter ego that you call on. Allah or Jehovah or Jesus. That's an alter ego or the motherfucker that packaged the religion. And when you understand religion, and I'm gonna move on because that's gonna be another understanding, you know, that I'm gonna have to focus directly on. Religions come fully packaged. You don't have to think. All you have to do is believe and do exactly what the motherfucking book tell you. And if you do not understand that all religions are created by men, published by men, copyrighted by men, you could go right down to the copyright registry right now and see that every goddamn Bible that's out there, every Quran, it's a copyright, it's a publishing date on that motherfucker. And whoever signed the application is in control of the goddamn rights of the book. So you got 10,000, 20,000 Bibles. How the fuck is it gonna be the word of God and everybody and their mama got a goddamn version of a copyright? If it's God's word, we don't need no goddamn version. All we need is God's word. How the fuck you gonna proofread and edit and get? For no, you take it how it's supposed to be given. So the fact that other men could come along and rewrite the motherfucker, edit the motherfucker, republish the motherfucker, show you that it is the creation of men. So what I'm saying here is we look at this, you see that the majority of even the purple area will show you the area where the Arabs conquered between the dates of 661 to 750 AD. And so all these are areas that were once Romanized. Okay? Okay, let me move back. The Arab was the next great empire to conquer Roman influenced land. Now let's move into it. Now, this is the first church in the world. This is the Hagia Sophia. And as you can see, it's, this is Byzantine. This is still Roman, but it's Byzantine. And you can see, that many aspects that are part of the mosque today first came from this particular church. You understand what I'm saying? Even the Roman temple that was already in the land. I'm going to show you the arch. I'm going to show you the dome. You understand what I'm saying? I'm going to show you that the mosque is actually a Roman sanctuary that has been Arabized. Okay? Again, the Arab was in a tent. And so you see right here, this is the blue mosque. Okay? This is the blue. So when I see the Ottoman Turks conquered what was then Byzantium, Constantinople, around 1450 something. Okay? And the Ottoman Turks is what they would call Sufis. And so Sufism is meaning any old spirit, any which way they practice before Islam. They try to add it to Islam, but it's some old backward ass, pagan ass practices that they just call Sufism because they don't want to be goddamn embarrassed for the shit that they was doing before Islam. So when they came in, they did not, and Sufism mean you don't necessarily have a mosque. You don't necessarily have a sanctuary that you just pray out in the open. So the Ottoman Turks, before they came into they worshipped out in the field. They didn't have no standing sanctuaries such as a mosque. So when the Ottoman Turks conquered Byzantium, they adopted the greater culture, the greater civilization of those they conquered, which was the Romans, which was the Byzantine. Okay, so as you see right here, this is a church. This is Hagia. So, and when the Ottoman Turks conquered it, they converted it into a mosque, but we see that it was first for 1,000 years or over, where the Hagia Sophia was created in 400 something AD. I don't have it exactly right here, but I have it on my other lecture, and I'll catch up the dates. But so this church was created, which is the world's first church, around 450 AD. Okay, so this mosque was created sometime 1500 AD. So you're talking about damn near 1,000 years later. But they adopted the Byzantine Roman architecture. That's obvious. And so when you go all over Turkey, you can see this was the architectural blueprint for the Arab world. They just adopted it. You understand what I'm saying? And so in reality, you could go right to the Pantheon in Rome and see the same goddamn Roman temple with nothing but Roman deities, this, that, and the third. So right there is facts. It's not to be disputed that the Arab adopted Roman architecture for the mosque, which is the Muslim sanctuary. So if we and I'm gonna move down the line. You understand? Other things that they took that's quite obvious when you see it is Roman. Okay, again, this is another mosque, and I'm not going. The titles is there in case you want to look it up, so you can see that the Byzantine, and that's another became the standard of the mosque. Okay, it became a standard of the mosque. So the first thing that they took that we can obviously see is the temple. The Roman temple sanctuary was Arabized and called the mosque. Number one. Okay, now we're gonna look at the Roman and the Islamic art. So you see now I'm gonna get into the Egyptian influence later, but I want to start first with the Catholics, because they swear to God they hate the Christians. They swear, they talk all this about the Catholics and the Christians. that they, they backwards, and I'm not defending them. I'm gonna chop heads in sequence. But it's necessary for me to show this first and foremost to break their back. And as I move to each subject, I'm gonna do the same in that particular subject. I'm gonna show what the Serapis worshipers, which later became the Christians, took from Egypt. And then I'm gonna show the Jew in his life of what he was. Okay, but so we focusing on, so we see here the Roman arch, okay? And we see not only did they take this, so we see in the Islamic arch is a Roman arch, okay? Okay, ain't no goddamn arches in no tent, okay? Ain't no arches in no goddamn tent. So we can see right there that the arches that you see all over the Islamic world today, is a Roman arch. When we look, I focus on the dome. I'm gonna focus on the minaret later. I got all my checks and balances right here. So when we looked at the dome, the Roman dome of the Roman temples, okay, which in those temples were Roman gods and Greek gods and goddesses. Then we looking at the arch, the Roman arch that they obviously took. And so when you look, now you can see the arch. This is might be the arch of Constantine. I'm not sure, to the right. Now, if you look clearly in the middle of the mosque, you see the arch. Now, because it got a variation into the arch, none the same. That's an outer, appearance. The arch is the same. Okay. So when you look in the middle of that mosque, not only the mosque itself or the dome, we talking about the arch that's built inside. So when you break it down and look at the Roman arch, that's a part of the mosque along with the dome. You see what I'm saying? We breaking it down piece by piece, that the arch and the dome is Roman. That's what it is. Okay, we showing and proving that when you conquer a man, you can make it. So you got his artisans, you got his masons, you got his architects, and they began to develop a sanctuary for the Arabs who had no standing sanctuary. Okay, so here you see the Roman arch, you see this big arch. We're not talking about the small arch. That's a big giant ass arch. It's the same as the Roman arch with a damn dome on the top of it. Okay? And the ability to make a dome is the same. It's no difference. The outer appearance, look, you got the more so-called Islamic dome, but it's built on the same architectural blueprint as the Roman dome. So if you break it down and you pull it apart and you see right in the center of the mosque is a Roman arch. Looking at it again. See right here, it's filled in, but the arch is none or less the same. Okay, when you look to the left, that's an ancient Roman arch. Now that's in Jordan. Now Jordan today is an Islamic country. Okay, so they adopted much, and that show you all of the Roman temples and sanctuaries that are still in those Arab lands. This is where they adopted their sanctuaries from. Okay, let me move through this. Okay, showing you the arch. But here I got, this is the arch in the temple of Abydos. I just threw this in here. I don't want to get off into the Egyptian aspect, yet. But just to show you that the Romans got it from the Egyptians who had been using the arch and all. You got the Corbel arch, and so all kinds of arches. The Africans invented the arch. And so the Romans got it from the goddamn Egyptians. Again, here you looking at an arch, and we're going to get deeper because in this aspect, when you look at the arch, it's a sun veneration. You see, and we're going to prove that. And that's why I had to ask the question, is the Muslim undercover sun worshiper? Because they always, when you understand the Catholics, and like I say, I don't want to expand. I'm using the Catholic, but I'm talking about much of the Roman religions that existed before Catholicism, because you had Mithra, which was a Persian sun deity. You had Horus, you had Apollo, you had Helios, all sun deities that was in the Roman pantheon. Okay, so when you look at you have to look at their religion to see what was the so-called spiritual meaning of the sanctuary. It's not just a dome. You understand what I'm saying? The dome in itself is the rising sun. You understand? We're going to show that. So in many aspects, the sun worship was intertwined in the architecture. So when they took the architecture from Rome, which took it from Egypt, the spiritual aspects that went into the architecture, they took that too. So here you got a sun temple, and I'm going to show you it's a sun temple. Yet you say use the crescent and the star, this, that, and the moon, which will show that many other people had those religious traits too. So that's not just solely when people say the crescent and the star, they think of Islam. That's ridiculous. People was venerating the sun and the stars and the moon, the crescent, long before an Arab was on the planet. You see what I'm saying? Now this is in what period? This is in the south. I don't know where this mosque is located. I think this is in Jordan too, showing you the Ottoman Turk look just like the Hagia Sophia. So you can see that, the Ottomans came after the Byzantine, and they conquered many of, again, what we saw as the Roman, and they came, the Byzantine. And so when the Ottoman Turks adopted and conquered the Byzantine Empire, they took, wherever they went, they brought the Byzantine architecture with them. So this is in Jordan. You understand? I can show you all the way to China and Japan, where the Byzantine architecture, and it all comes from the church. It all comes from not just the Hagia Sophia, but the other Roman temples that was in the land before they got there. The Muslim took the design of the mosque from the Roman Catholic Cathedral. Now look at this. If you're looking at the same goddamn sanctuary, when you look at the larger dome, and you see to the left is the Taj Mahal. You see the two smaller domes next to the bigger dome. It's obviously that's the same fucking temple. It's the same sanctuary. Okay? Now, how in the hell one is Catholic, the other supposed to be Islamic? Now we showing and proving just, this is where you took, and we have to understand that every person's sanctuary is designed based on the spiritual teachings. You ain't just got a building. You understand? When some people design like Lalabella, with the church was designed like a cross. Many of the aspects of the stained glass and the circular window in the front of the church, which represents sun veneration. So the spirit, when they lay the blueprint out, they're also thinking about the spiritual concept of what they believe in. So you're not just taking the sanctuary. When you take the sanctuary, you're taking the spiritual aspects of the people. You understand who you conquering? Okay, so when you look at the tech in the obelisk with the cross on the top, and you see that the minaret is only a replica of the obelisk. That's all that it is. It is a replica of the obelisk, but they got it by way of the Christian. Some of it they got directly from Africa when they went in. A lot of it they got directly from the Romans because they were interacting with the Romans, in those lands that they had early conquered. The Arabs were already a part, many Arabs were already a part of the Roman Empire before Islam came along. So it was, that's the culture that they knew. So obviously they would add that to Islam. Okay? Now this is in Japan. You see the Tokyo Mosque, and you can see it got the Hagia Sophia dome on the top. This is in China. This is Byzantine. You understand? This comes from out of what we know today is Orthodox Christianity, which, was the Christianity established by Constantine. Okay? He set his capital up in today what is called Turkey. And that Hagia Sophia, even though Constantine did not build that that church, I think that was Lord have mercy. It wasn't it might have been Theodosius. If it wasn't Theodosius, but he was about he was the third leader of Byzantium after Constantine. He wasn't that far from Constantine. But you could see the influence of the Byzantine all the way in China. You understand what I'm saying? You can see that influence. And so when you go to anywhere in there, you can see that Tekken. You see the dome. So I already showed you the arch. I done already showed you the arch. I done showed you the dome. Now I'm showing you the Tekken as a replica in the minaret. Okay, I'm showing you three aspects of their sanctuary, okay, that they got by way of the Catholic or the Roman. Okay, now the obelisks was added much later to these Catholic basilicas and cathedrals. These obelisks was added, in the 1500, 1400 AD. You understand? And they put them in front of all, cathedrals and basilicas in Rome, and even in Turkey, in front of the Hagia Sophia is an Egyptian obelisk. That became the minaret. Okay, it's quite obvious when you look at them. There's no running from those facts. So again, if you taking the sanctuary, and you're not just taking like, okay, I don't know, architecture, but when I get a hold of this site, I'm gonna build it in how I want it to be built. I don't want it to be a reflection of, another man's spiritual system or nothing. They didn't change nothing. They adopted the whole package. They adopted and didn't change too much. They Arabized it and gave it a couple of their own, designs here and there. Okay, but the core part of the sanctuary they kept. And so the left is the Catholics, and you see again a different obelisk, and then you see the Islamic dome, which is a Roman dome, Arabized, and you see the minaret outside of all the sanctuaries. Okay, and again, we look to the right. That's Byzantium, but that's another church. That's not the Hagia Sophia. So you see, and when you look at that church and go all the way back to these, you see the effect that the Byzantine had, even all the way to Japan and China by way of the Muslim. Okay, let me keep. Now I got the minaret and the obelisk here, and when you see them standing, now this is the one in Turkey. This is the one in Turkey. Now this was added by the Roman. This particular obelisk was in what they call the circus, where they had the chariot races and this that. That circus is no longer, Roman circus is no longer there. So it was removed. It was removed and added to the front of the Hagia Sophia. The minarets were added much later when the Muslims took control. The Ottoman Turks took control of Constantinople or Byzantium. Now we talk now we getting critical here. Now it's not just the dome, it's the three dome mosques. Okay, the hidden worship of the Holy Trinity of the Catholic. So when you look at this one, and we already seen St. Peter, you see what I'm saying? You see the three dome aspect. You see right there in the middle what you see. You see the Roman arch. And then you see what? You see the three domes. Okay, you're going to see the minaret. I'm showing you all the aspect of the sanctuary. Again, you see you see the Roman arch, you see the three domes, and here you see the minarets can sometimes be built into the manifestation of the mosque, which is the two obelisks that would be in front of the Egyptian temple. And sometimes you could see the churches will also have two towers built into the cathedral. Okay, so we showing you exactly what they took, and they didn't just take a few aspects; they took the whole package. Okay, now this is a basilica in France. So you see the three dome aspect of the basilica in France. Okay, showing you that they have kept with the Catholic or the Roman construction of the basilica. Okay, now let's deal with the fact that the mosque, when you see the dome, it's the rising sun. If you got a compass and you got that 180 compass, a half of a circle, you will know what the dome is. You see what I'm saying? So when you look at the half, when you look at that compass, you look, it's not a full circle, it's a half a circle. You got the arch at the top, and then you got the horizontal ruler at the bottom. That's the symbolic of the rising sun. That's the dome. So when you look at that golden dome in Palestine, you got to understand that's veneration of the rising sun. Okay, because when you go to most of them domes, they'll have a clear story window in the top of that dome where the sun shines down into the sanctuary. Okay, and I put that I don't need to go over that because it's almost 8:30, and I need 15 minutes to bring this part of it, and we can always get back. I just want to make clear the clear, aspects that they took that nobody could argue. So when you look at the top of the dome, you'll see it got the ball, and then it got the symbol of that particular religion at the top. So you can see they even took the whole goddamn mechanism and put the crescent and the star up there. You understand what I'm saying? Took that aspect of it. What? So, I'm showing you each aspect that you cannot, deny that they took. So if they took the sanctuary, and the sanctuary is the physical representation of the spiritual concept, how can you not believe they also took the spiritual concept? That's ridiculous. The dome is the rising sun. So you got the crescent and the star up there, but that's not the true symbolisms of the sanctuary. And I don't even believe that the average Muslim or Arab knew what the fuck they was taking. But those higher ups, you know what I'm saying? They knew exactly what it was. And they had to be sitting right at the table with the Romans, with the Catholics, when this shit was designed. Because this is the blueprint all over the world. And showing you again, this is outside of the Hagia Sophia, which was a Christian church for 1,000 years. And that obelisk was there before the minarets. The minarets, which are the Islamic aspect, were added 1,000 years later. So you would have had that Christian basilica with the dome, and you would have had the obelisk right there outside of that church. Okay, and that became the model for. Now look at this. When you look at this, there's no getting away from it. Not only when you look at the minaret, the 4 minarets on the side of the Taj Mahal, and when you go down that street leading to St. Peter, they got a whole row of obelisks. That when you see the light, the street light all leading all the way down to St. Peter, them is all obelisks. They not Egypt, but they built in the manifestation of an obelisk. They not original obelisks. And then the one directly in the middle, that's telling you something. So when you look at the minarets, on the side, it's giving you the same visual of St. Peter's. It's no different. Okay, it's no different at all. Okay, you have to see it for even when you talk about prostration, and prostrations is the different forms of how you stand, how you hold your hands when you pray. So when you see the Catholics who conquered Egypt, and you understand, took much from Egypt, they already saw thousands and thousands and thousands of years before there was a Christian, Jew, or Muslim, different prostrations on the walls. You understand what I'm saying? By the Africans. So you see the Pope is prostrating just like the Egyptian. And you can see that the Arab didn't have no understanding of no damn prostration. They got that shit from the Catholics. Okay, they got that shit from the Catholics. Let me tell you. Now, let's look at this. Let's look at this. When you talk about in Islam, they call it the Hamza. And it's the eye, it's the sacred eye, the all-seeing, and it's supposed to ward off the evil eye. If a motherfucker looking at you evil, or this, that, and the third, if you got this with you, that it'll ward off any type of evil eye, which can bring about evil circumstances on you. If somebody look at you with an evil eye, that could bring evil spell upon you and evil circumstances on you. So if you go to the Middle East or damn near any Arab nation, they will always, if they riding around, they got a Hamza, which is at the bottom. You understand? In their car. Oh, you understand what I'm saying? So when you go to Catholicism, you see at the top right, and you see to the left, you see what they call the all-seeing eye, which they claim is God. You understand what I'm saying? And you can see how the Muslims adopted that aspect. Okay, because we got to state, even the Quran state that the Christians and the Jews came before them. So when you already have accepted that fact, and you see these traditions are part of the Catholic and the Jews, then we know who took from who. It's just obvious. So now, not only are we seeing you taking certain aspects, now you got talismans. You got talismans and spiritual medallions that you taken from the Catholic, which obviously we know they took from us. So when you look up, and this is a Catholic basilica with the all-seeing, and you see it on the back of the dollar, you see it with the Freemasons and this. So that's all the brotherhood. You understand what I'm saying? So we got to quit faking that some goddamn God gave them anything when you could trace all aspects of the goddamn religion back to its origin. And it ain't no damn Allah. Okay, I'm sorry to tell you that. Okay, showing you the Hamza, and you see the IHS, which that is an anagram for Jesus Christ. You see right there again in the Christian basilica, the eye in the pyramid, again, what you see on the back of a dollar, again, what you see affiliated with all Freemasonry to show you the wicked brotherhood between all these so-called religions and fraternal institutions claiming to be of God, yet and still they nothing but a wicked brotherhood of world control. Okay? And then you come back here to the Africans who showing you the eye is the eye of the almighty Osiris. Okay, which represent again the sun and the moon. We understand that. And for many, you got the third eye, which you see is in the middle and reflection of the sun with the dot in the middle is symbolic of the pineal gland. Now we're going to look at what you call the nuns, fully veiled nuns, and the Muslima, which are the women of Islam. And you see the dress. I've been showed family this. Not only did you took the sanctuary, you took, talismans, you took symbols. You understand what I'm saying? And you took dress. You took dress. So you see the fully veiled nuns here. You see what I'm saying? These one put, this is fully veiled. They just got the whole guy head is covered, whole face is covered. Okay. Now to the left is the Christian. The one to the right is the Muslim. How can you tell the difference? You understand what I'm saying? How can you tell the one to the left? The one to the right is a Muslim. But if that woman had, you see her in her hand, she got rosary. Okay, that's what they call the beads of the Catholic. They call it rosary. And then in Islam, they call it something else. if that woman to the left had a crescent and a star on that rosary, you would swear to God she was a Muslim or Muslim. Okay, so we showing not only the sanctuary, the different aspects of the sanctuary, from the dome, the 3 dome, to the minaret, which is the obelisk. You know what I'm saying? It's other aspects even of the sanctuary that I'm gonna get into in the next. And it's 8:38, so I'm gonna move quickly through this. You understand what I'm saying? Because I can always I can keep going. But this is right here is enough for a motherfucker to say, let me take another look at this shit. You understand what I'm saying? Again, when you look at to the left at the non-Christian non, and you look to the right at the Muslim, there's not much difference, if any at all. If the one to the left, which is a Christian, had a crescent and a star on it, you would swear that she was a Muslim. And if the woman to the right had a cross on it, you would swear she was a nun. Okay? I'm going to get into that part aspect at a different time when I deal with the cube and the cross. That's a more occult understanding, and it's going to take me a greater time to get through that. I'm going to go through only the things that I could prove, right up front, that can't be disputed. So again, you looking at the rosary, and then you looking at the spiritual beads of the Muslim. Took all of that. You understand what I'm saying? Took that. Let me move. Okay. Let me see where I'm at on this. I don't want to go into the next aspect of this just yet, because there's a lot of parts and I need to break them down. I'm going to go into this, and then I'm going to end on this, and we're going to move to the second aspect. Even the Quran, I'm not even dealing with what the scriptures say, but they got it from the Africans, and I'm going to show it much later, but I just want to show what the Muslim took from the Christian. So I done showed you dress. I done showed you the dress of the nuns and the Muslims. Okay, I done showed you the Hamza, the all-seeing, which the Catholics got from Osiris in ancient Egypt, and you can see that with the obelisk that's outside of the church. That's like they that's like they what they call point of origin. You understand what I'm saying? They keep them understanding what started all was the obelisk, so they knew they got it from Egypt. You understand what I'm saying? So just like they got their obelisk from Egypt, they got many other aspects, just like I showed you the arch they got from Egypt. So when you look at the writings, the Egyptians also had the black writings, which was the teaching, and the red was the answer, or the word of God. You understand the response of God. And so when you go into the Bible, you will see, you'll see through verses, you'll see teachings. And then when you see the red, that's supposedly what Jesus, he himself said. Okay. And so you see the black and red, and you go right into the Quran and see the same aspect. That's too fucking obvious. So when you looking and you can see damn near Islam is Christianity Arabized. Okay, it been tweaked, it's been remixed, but the core foundation of much of Islam is Roman and Catholic. And I got to add Roman and Catholic because many of the aspects that they took was before Catholicism came on the scene, because the Romans had already conquered many of them nations that were soon to be Arab. So once you understand that, it's easy, and look at today and use the Arab world the same way today, how they got all them goddamn cars and got all them goddamn mega downtown, mega cities they got over. That was through the contact with the Western world. If they did not have that contact, they would still be in goddamn tents, riding. They wouldn't have no goddamn cars. They'll still be over there riding on the back of camels, and many of them still prefer to ride around on the camel today. So this is the first part of the series. How how the Catholics, the Roman Catholics, influence Islam. It'll be a part 2 to this, but many of the other aspects are not necessarily particular to the architecture. It's going to be about the scriptures. And we're going to be breaking that down to expose it for what it is. And once I've done this, and you see the blueprint of how I'm breaking this shit down, I'm going to go after the Muslim, I'm going to go straight into Christianity, and I'm going to relate everything that I'm going to do in Christianity to Islam. I'm going to show you what aspects, and and I'm going to show them proof, because they took so much that they had no understanding of. They took, they didn't, much of it they didn't understand had been taken from the Egyptians. Okay. And so when they say that God gave them some shit that we can show a goddamn timeline based on an architectural, spiritual influence that existed before some goddamn Allah, you can't keep saying some Allah gave you that. And this shit been on the planet before you, Allah, or the goddamn Quran. Why would Allah give you something that's already been here, created by men thousands of years before you come on the scene? Why? God can't do no better than that, than replicate something man has already created. You understand what I'm saying? So that's where you fall short, Muslim. You're falling very short. And this is proof positive that Catholicism influenced Islam in a major way in its construction and everything. So I'm going to stop here, and then I'm going to move to the next. And each one of these is not going to be no longer than 45 minutes to an hour. So come right on back, get this part 2, and it's going to, and believe me, it's fire. And each one is going to lead into the next one. And if you stay for all 12 and you look at all 12, I guarantee you, your ass will be light years in understanding the formation of Islam than you was before you saw this series. Okay, nobody doing this shit like Jim. I'm going to the heart out of it. Now, again, I don't want anybody to think that I'm trying to shoot down their spiritual energy, because I know a lot of brothers and sisters, again, they believe in God. And so I don't negate your spiritual energy, that you add to this religion, but this religion is a vessel, you the power. And if it was not for your African divinity that you add to this religion, then this religion would not exist. You act as if the religion giving you power, and it is actually the reverse. You giving the damn religion power. If African people were not a part of these religions, they would fall down, because it's your divinity that's keeping this shit propped up. That's the reality. Your African divinity is what's, your black divinity is what's propping all these religions up. So this is not a shot at you personally, African Muslim or African Christian or African Hebrew. It's a shot at the vessel itself. You have been lied to. Your energy is good, but the reality is you've been lied to. And I'm here to show and prove on those aspects at which you've been lied to. So let's move on to the next episode. Let me come back. I'm back in the house. Let me see my chat. How we doing out there, family? How we do? Please come back for part 2. It's only going to be 45 minutes to an hour. I'm not having no more, where I'm giving 2 hours and this, that, and the third, breaking it up. So it'll be 45 minutes to an hour. So even if you see me say I'm having 2 or 3 in a day, they're going to be like 45 minutes. So it's going to be almost like when you see me rock 2 hours of this, that, and the third. You ain't got to sit in there. It's going to be all chopped up, because it's a necessity to have them separated. So when you go, like when the next one coming up on song worship, then you could go directly to that and deal with that specifically and know that's what you're getting. And not, sometimes when you do them too long, then a lot of topics get caught up in one video, and you might not know that particular topic is within that video. So to keep from doing that, I separate them, make them 45 minutes to an hour. So I'll be back. Am I on time? No, I ain't on time. Give me 10 minutes and I'll be right back. All the Muslims, undercover, sun worshipers. I'm gonna arm you with knowledge today, family. So I'll be back in 10 minutes. I'll be black in 10 minutes. This is the General Seti saying, hey, arm yourself with knowledge, bang on that wicked ass beast daily, liberation through African education and confrontation. Black power.